Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We're joined now by Mr. Femi Aribisala, who is an author, public commentator, and a policy analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning, sir.
Thank you.
Well, we just spoke with Mr. Obla, and many of these concerns reported everywhere. He just thinks that, no, they don't seem to be properly placed. Do you think that they are maybe misplaced?
Let me take the opportunity to felicitate with our Muslim brothers for the Eid al-Fitr. I was very angry because I had the opportunity to sit down and listen to him. Most of the issues he didn't address whatsoever. And it's even more annoying that somebody from the South is coming to make that proposal. Now, let us start from the president. The president himself, in his public utterances before he became president, identified that there is a North and a South. He told us that the Boko Haram was a Southern conspiracy against the North. He told Lamadishino that the people of the South were killing his people when there were problems with the Fulani herdsmen in Oyo State. For the length of the 6 years or 5 years of President Jonathan's government, the outcry has been that there must be a northern president. And in fact, there was a breakup of, some governors left the PDP because they insisted on a northern government. And so we cannot now pretend that the concept of the North does not exist when we have, as some of you pointed out, federal character principle is there to make sure that there is some kind of balancing. We have geopolitical zones that are identified between North and South. The North and South exists in Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria today, and I must say it very, very frankly, is the problem is the president, because he is not sufficiently sensitive to the plurality of Nigeria. And so you have this lopsidedness in terms of his pronouncements, in terms of his appointments, and it stirs up all kinds of tendencies that would not have been there. There were all kinds of problems before the president came, but he has exacerbated them, he has worsened them. Now we're having Avengers are bombing. A situation that President Yaradua was able to attenuate has flared up. Now we are having pro-Biafran people agitating for separation. Now we are having Sheikhs, we are having Shiites being attacked in Nigeria. There are all kinds of tendencies that should really not have been provoked, that have been provoked. And all these different appointments, they are made without sufficient sensitivity to the plurality of Nigeria. Some of his supporters, like the current governor of Kaduna, told us before he decided to join him that President Buhari, then General Buhari, was not sensitive enough to Nigeria's plurality. IBB said that when he overthrew him. The president is talking change. He needs to change. He has not changed since his first coming.
Let's take a look at some of the issues that you've raised, and some of the things you say he's exacerbated, as it were. For instance, Niger Delta Avengers. How did he do that?
Well, you see, in his inauguration, he made a fantastic speech that he belongs to nobody and he belongs to everybody. Now, that is a unifying speech. But then his actions thereafter didn't back this up. For a very long time, we just had appointments and appointments and appointments that were northern appointments. Why? Why was he doing that? Until he reached the statutory element where, by the Constitution, you have to appoint people from different states. But beyond that, his kitchen cabinet is northern. His personal staff is predominantly northern. And as you were pointing out, you were trying to read to this gentleman, the security apparatus is basically dominated by northerners. It is not right. It is not right that this...
How does that exacerbate, bring up Niger Delta Avengers?
Well, it makes some people feel that they are excluded. It makes some people, especially today, the South and the Southeast feel that they're excluded. I mean, Igbos, for instance, have been excluded from so many posts. If you do a census, which this man was telling us we should do, but he should have done it, and he would have realized that there is no balancing in Buhari's appointments. His appointments are lopsided. And it isn't right. If you are president of Nigeria, you have to be president of all Nigerians. And you have to bring all Nigerians together. But the feeling is not there.
But you know, during one of the, I think it's the first media chat that the president has held, he did talk about those kitchen cabinets. He said, look, this is about appointing people who you trust, who are really close, who you can, of course, do certain things with. But in terms of all the other appointments, do you think that maybe there's something that we may be missing out here? Could they be looking at trust and then competence of those who can deliver?
A president, first of all, came through a political party. Hopefully, the political party is a national political party. You cannot say you only trust people from your backyard. It is not right. It isn't right. And I have always felt it was a mistake electing Buhari because people don't change in their 70s. Yeah. And he has always been like that. In his first coming, his SMC had 16 people. Only one was a Yoruba man. That has been the tendency of Buhari. As PTF chairman, most of the money that was spent on the PTF was spent in the north. Systematically. And he has not changed. They talk change, but the president hasn't changed. His people need to talk to him.
I'm trying to look at some of the points raised by Mr. Obla. Back here, maybe in the south or southwest, what a lot of people see is that they always think that the north is just one north. That was why he took time to break it down, that look, these people are into states and into ethnic group. And he made some point by reading out some of those names, saying that, for instance, the acting Inspector General of Police is Nupe, and some of these people, like the Secretary to the government, is even a Christian also from the north, in trying to make people understand it. Isn't that misunderstanding that some Nigerians hold that is making everyone think that it's a north versus south issue?
Perceptions are more important than reality. Within the Nigerian construct, there is a northern perception and a southern perception. The president of Nigeria must be sensitive to this. Must be sensitive to this. This is a democratic polity, and he was elected by all Nigerians. The first time he tried, he only got 300 and something thousand votes out from the entire South. But he triumphed on the third time he tried, which was 2011. He triumphed this time because he was able to form a coalition that stretched across the Niger. It must be reflected in his administration. He still hasn't got it. And it does no good for people like Mr. Obla to be pretending to him. If he is in the inn of government, people should tell this to Mr. President. He must be, according to the statement he made when he took over, he must be the president of all Nigerians. Let me give you an example. The issue of Fulani herdsmen. During Ahmadinejad's time, he came all the way from Katsina, came to Oyo State, to make a case that your people are killing my people. Presumably now all Nigerians are his people. But there has been no Fulani herdsmen or no herdsmen that has been prosecuted for killing people. Please, this kind of contradiction doesn't make sense.
But do we blame him? Because, I mean,
we must blame him. The buck stops with him.
He's giving that directive to security agents to say, listen, this must stop. It's up to them to now act.
First of all, how long did it take for him to say anything at all? It took him over a year to say anything at all. It bothers me. We are concerned because our daughters, our sisters have been kidnapped by the Boko Haram, these Chibok girls. So we are concerned for some 200 and something people that were kidnapped. But please, when people assemble, we kill them. So how can we say we are concerned because some people, when some sheikhs, we kill hundreds of sheikhs. And then we are concerned, please, all lives matter. The lives of sheikhs matter in Nigeria. The lives of pro-Biafran agitators matter in Nigeria. The lives of Niger Delta people matter in Nigeria. The lives of all Nigerians matter. And that must be expressed and must be implemented by Mr. President. We can't continue having a situation where herdsmen are just going from state to state and killing people.
Well,
and not one arrest. I've not heard. Maybe you can tell me. Who has been arrested for Fulani herdsmen? Not one single arrest. Why not? And when we look at it historically, he said they are his people.
Is that because, do you think that the policemen are looking the other way? Don't the state governments also have a responsibility? For instance, the crime of murder falls under the purview of state governments to prosecute.
Except that in Nigeria, the police structure, it's federal.
Are we saying that
the state governors don't really have, they don't have.
Nobody caught anybody, and maybe they were caught and were they set free?
I don't know. I just know that I have not heard of any of them being caught. And, as early as a few days ago, there were still some other movements by these herdsmen. How can this continue?
Do you think it's just an unfortunate one he's had? Because if you look at the insurgency in the northeast, since it came on, there's been some significant progress in that aspect. And now you say some others have just sprung up, like the Avengers, and looking at the agitators from Nigeria's southeast. How would you have loved to see him handle these other two?
First of all, his body language caused them. His attitude caused them. Look.
Let me get this. His body language and attitude gave birth to what we're seeing in the south.
Oh yes, because people don't feel. First of all, you had an election that was fought on the grounds that power must go to the north. Okay, so that itself, I always maintain the position that, look, this election should be fought for national unity side. So if we are getting oil from the south-south, we should not be too concerned if a son of the south-south becomes president. For heaven's sake. I mean, other places have been president for so many years. If the oil is from their place, they deserve to be, and some people say, 4 years is enough. Well, but 4 years is enough. People have been coming for, how many times have we had presidents from Katsina? 4 years is enough. Why should Buhari himself come back after having been here before?
All right, we'll take a break. We'll continue in that same line of thought when we return. Do join us again.